One Take Wine, and we're back. Still early June, opening some wine. Let's not waste any more time and just jump right into it today. So I've gone a little bit strange, a little strange mixture today because, hey, why not? Well, there's a couple of reasons I'll get into in a second when we get to the second wine, but it wasn't. I thought it had leaked a little bit during Transpo, and therefore I wasn't too sure. It was a bit silly on my part to assume that it wouldn't have the chutzpah to survive that little, very minimal leakage, so you could smell it a little bit through. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's always a pleasure to drink wine, even if it's maybe not the ideal time of year to drink them. All right, first one we got. Look at that red. Look at this raw puppy of a red. Purple, more than red almost, I would say. Not almost. It is. It's very much more purple. Quite dark. Dark purple, deep purple. Little, no, I'm not gonna, it's not smoke on the water. Beautiful. Beautiful plummy strawberry cherry compote. A little mixture of all of them mashed up, you could say. Very raw. Very, there's a wildness to this. A brambly wildness to it. This needs some years in a bottle. In a cellar. In the bottle. In a cellar. That said, really great herbal element to this. Almost rosemary-ish. And very drying tannins. Big wine. Punchy wine. And it lingers. I mean, this is, interesting. It's a 2021 Romanée from, Benjamin Leroux. Benjamin Leroux has been getting a lot of traction in some of the French wine communities, online postings. I'm seeing a lot of stuff, a lot of positives being written up lately, and I've been literally been tasting this guy every year in Paris every summer. I find the wines kind of expensive, or I always thought they were a bit expensive. I didn't really know the producer that much, but I always bought them. They're always young, so it's always like this. So I have one, and then I don't really drink any more of it. But 2020 being 2020, I had to pick it up. Also, just with the current buzz around the Leroux, I thought, yes, I will buy it. So I overpaid. I wouldn't do that again. I mean, it's a wonderful wine, but it's also it's a wine that needs minimum 5 more years somewhere, dark and quiet. And it's not the school of finesse, trying to impress you as a fairy dancing through the vineyard, or as whatever Leroux likes to say, but it's more from the, power, elegant power, but power nonetheless. School of things. It has very much a presence, a darkness and a presence that's not a Gevrey darkness, and certainly not a Chambois darkness. This is very, very sauvage. It's very, very meaty, a little bit vitamin-y even still. So I'm describing youth, essentially, of a top Burgundy, a smokiness to it. This is very good. I mean, I would happily drink more of this, but I wouldn't happily purchase it unless I was going to tuck it away. And I think you're probably seeing a pattern in these videos that I don't tuck too much away. So it's mostly purchase pop and pour type situations. So I would be fascinated to try some of this wine in 5 years' time. So let's say that. Let's say even in maybe even 3 years. It doesn't matter. I'll try to score some older vintages and track this a little bit, because it is a very interesting producer. It's obviously high quality Romanée here. This is no joke, this wine. So best to keep an eye on it. What do we got in the glass when it comes to the second one? And look at this. Now, I'm following up this kind of weird, big, badass burgundy with this. Look at the color. It's almost orange. And, it's a little dank, a little celery, you could say. I don't know if that's because the bottle was leakage. You could say the cork was soaked right through, and the top was blackened. But it didn't like just disintegrate or anything like that. So I broke it, but it didn't disintegrate. I always break the cork. And this has got a very, very mineral nose, which is, it's not unexpected, but it's maybe not the first thing that should pop with this one. I think it might be a little faded from where it should be. At the same time, it's still delicious. It has a lemon. It's a very citrus sort of drive through the middle, and a very mineral sort of persistence on the finish. It sits in your mouth and drips stone water down on your palate. And at the same time, I think it's missing a lot of its oomph, its body. It's still nice to drink, but probably not what it should be. And it's too bad, because it's a 78 Chateau-Chalon, which I'm supposed to be drinking à boire chambré, and it is a little bit cold right now, so chambré means like room temperature, you could say, and by that, not like 30-degree room temperature. It's so it is a little bit cold right now, and it does have an incredible length. It still has that is still there. It's sort of just the mid palate that feels a little bit stunted, and that's why I'm kind of saying the cold might be doing that. It'll be interesting to get to later, and in the next video I'll just update you on that. But first of all, what a lovely bottle, right? What a lovely label. And 78 being 78. 78 was a good year. It's a good year for almost everybody. Maybe not Bordeaux, but... This is from Fruitière, Vinicole, the Producteurs de Chateau-Chalon. So it's a collective, I guess, right? Yeah. Where growers essentially combine their harvest. That's how I would read that. And if I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comments. I just love that label. First of all, it was going for too cheap. That was number one. Second of all, I love old vin jaune. I love young vin jaune. I like vin jaune. It doesn't really matter. I know that it's pretty hard to kill a bottle of vin jaune. So even if it's past its prime or whatever, it's still going to be great. It's still going to be very, very good. And this does have a little bit of an off-putting something in the nose, but it's only a very slight thing. And even though, like I say, it's missing that oomph in the mid palate, that citrus, that length, the mineral length, those are still intact. It's very cooling almost on on the finish. So it's probably a combination of producer being, a collective type of situation. I'm not saying it's always bad, but it's not generally where you're going to get, the top of the pops in wine making, as far as I'm concerned. That and the bottle leakage. So it was down into it was just below the neck, you could say. So it wasn't like terrible. It was just a pinhole. There was no literal. It wasn't liquid pouring out of it. If I turned it upside down, it wasn't that. Just it had been stored on its side and then got shaken during transport, obviously, and then some of it got through the top. It was eating away at the capsule. Enough about that. And so when I was super worried about it, because I thought it's going to be super heavy wine, big Vin on a sunny June day, 20 degrees outside. No, because that refreshing citrus and nice long mineral finish are more akin to, we still get the very nutty, type of oxidative type of thing in the background, but it's so faded in that mid palate, so faded, so delicate now at this point that really it's more of the citrus and mineral coming through, which means hey, it's perfectly fine for a day like today. Okay, that's it for this installment. I don't think, maybe there might be, but I doubt it. So it'll probably be next week. And until then, stay thirsty, enjoy, and we'll see you when we get back. Okay.